Sean Diddy Combs firing back.
I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop.
Amid the firestorm of sex trafficking allegations, authorities raiding his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, the rapper now on the defense. His attorney calling it a witch hunt, telling ABC News there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, we are all aware of what's going on with Sean Diddy Combs and the two subsequent raids at two separate residences that are owned by Mr. Combs, by the FBI, Homeland Security, etc. His attorney pointed out in his statement that he was very offended and upset by the military-style operation, that it involved men in military uniforms, tanks, and etc. Like Puffy is some type of threat on that level. He's not a terrorist, but he's a man that's only accused right now, and he's a target of an ongoing investigation. But to come to his home like that was very disrespectful to his children, to his mother, to his family. But let's go to the issues at hand. They really won't clearly say what he's under investigation for. They're saying possible sex trafficking. But what upsets me about that, if he's truly involved in sex trafficking, the brother has to pay for the crimes he's committed. But why is it that just a few months ago, here in this country, in the U.S., the Department of Justice and the FBI came out and admitted that they had busted an East Coast sex trafficking ring, and they had the names of politicians, law enforcement officers, and high-profile individuals who was paying for prostitutes from this sex trafficking operation. But yet we still have not heard any of their names. We've heard no raids going on at their homes. How is it Bill Clinton, his house has not been raided? He went to Epstein Island so many times it should have been named after Clinton. How is it Prince Charles, who was also to Epstein Island? Nobody raided Buckingham Palace, and he even settled a lawsuit against a woman that alleged had sexual relations with him. It's upsetting to me, Charles, that the way Sean Combs is being treated, his white counterparts who've been accused of the same thing are not treated the same way. Still, they can go after Bill Cosby for something he did 35, 40 years ago. But nobody's going after Hugh Hefner and the Playboy estate for what he did to young teenage girls at the Playboy Mansion. I got a problem with that.
One, Hugh Hefner's dead. Okay, two, I hate to be the one sitting here forced to defend old white guys, but Prince Charles was not implicated. It was his little brother Andrew. But one of the issues that is confronted in the United Kingdom is that the royal family is seen to be above the law for a great number of reasons and not amenable to police action in the UK. So I think those are just you grasping at straws to say, hey, look at the white person over there. Don't look at P. Diddy, my brother. It's nonsense. The truth is, Danny Masterson just went to prison for the rest of his life. Harvey Weinstein is going to die in prison. That Hollywood titans are being investigated, right? And with Puffy, there has been a lot of smoke, and for years, fire being ignored. There was a clip that has resurfaced of Usher talking on the Howard Stern show about his years spent living with Diddy when he was 13 years old. Now, I fault whatever parent would make that decision, but he talked about orgies and all kind of sexual craziness that he was made privy to as a result of living with Diddy and walking into rooms constantly where people were having sex.
So it sounds like Usher worked at Nickelodeon.
I didn't interrupt you. It sounds like that when Usher was asked if he let his kid live with Diddy, he said, hell no, right? He also, however, we have other clips of Diddy talking about the behind closed door stuff he was going to be doing with a young 15-year-old Justin Bieber when his 48-hour guardianship. Look, it seems like Puffy's a pervert. It seems like he is engaged in criminality, but you called him accused. He hasn't been accused. The only person arrested so far is a white person being identified as his drug mule. That should concern Diddy, because if the feds grab you and they catch you with drugs, they sure have a whole lot of leverage to make you talk.
And the feds have been known to get cooperating witnesses to lie and say anything that they want them to say to get them a deal.
Do you think?
Why is it the white counterparts who've been accused of the same thing in this country have not been raided? Warner Brothers, TriStar Pictures, Nickelodeon executives. So wait a minute.
Again,
You telling me that all these folks have come out and they admitted that when they were child stars at Nickelodeon, they were preyed upon by employees of Nickelodeon. But nobody's raided the top executives' homes of Nickelodeon.
You should possibly read beyond the headlines, but they are talking about, like, so Drake Bell, the child star who was and has now been disclosed that he was the victim of sexual assault, right, by his acting coach, right? Well, the acting coach went to prison. Now, it seems like
but
Disney
the top executives who were aware of this, who helped keep it silent, their homes were not raided. They're not in jail.
Well, first of all, you don't know if the top executives kept it silent. You don't know.
Oh, no, their homes were not raided. And the media did not get tips in advance that the FBI and Homeland Security, Department of Justice, was carrying out a raid like they did with Puffy.
There is executives who didn't take appropriate action, and there is actual criminals. And it appears that Puffy is being investigated for actual crimes. And you're acting like there weren't a slew of African-American women who just came out saying that he sexually assaulted them.
That's not what I'm saying, Charles.
Oh, no, it does seem like
I'm saying why
it
his
seems like Diddy's black,
why the white
so he's off
counterparts
limits.
who have
And
the same allegations against them by white and black victims have not been treated the same way that Puffy's being treated. I got a better one for you. I got a better one for you.
Here's the truth. If Puffy was white, your position would be
no,
absolutely
you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Charles,
you wouldn't even want to talk about him as a white dude.
The biggest child sex trafficking organization and institution in American history is the Catholic Church. But why is the FBI and Homeland Security and Department of Justice, why they haven't raided the Pope's house? Why they ain't go to Rome and raid his house when the Catholic Church from the Pope on down for generations covered up child sexual abuse and child sexual exploitation? Why is it the Pope home has not been raided?
I'm not going to defend
They didn't touch way more than Puffy
on what they did for probably centuries, but we know for decades. But again, if you'll reinvestigate, a great number of priests have gone to prison. Right? And
but they didn't raid the Catholic Church with military-style weapons.
Yeah, but most certainly there were
They
raids
never went to the Catholic Church with military-style weapons.
Weinstein was
and the Pope was involved.
Powerful man
the Pope
in Hollywood.
silenced it. He covered it up.
Was the most powerful man in Hollywood for decades. He's going to die in prison because of sex crimes. And you're sitting here.
You point to one white guy.
They're
you point to one white guy.
What you're doing is you're trying to make this a racial issue when it should be
not
about scumbags raping women and children. And if Puffy raped people, put his ass in prison.
Yes, I agree. But treat them white boys the same way.
So let's look at the white people.
Go to the Pope's house.